Third S is soothed. Remember that a key job of parents who are fostering or adopting is to increase pleasure and decrease stress, both of which we just saw in that lovely example with Dad, as when he gave the child his earplugs and also sat with him on the tractor. In the video clip, it was clear the boy felt seen and safe. And did you also notice how soothed he seemed, riding along on the tractor with his father? Not unlike infants, children who have experienced loss and trauma will need great comforting, not just by word, but also by action. Fourth S is secure. Spending time with children and connecting physically and emotionally will create a strong foundation of stability and trust. Experiences speak much louder than words, so activities that involve touch, movement, and use of senses particularly help to cement positive patterns and loving messages into brains and bodies. Let's pause and consider the child's birth family. We'll talk much more about children's families throughout our time together. For now, know that whether there is a great deal of contact or whether you will never interact with them, the child will carry their families with them in mind, body, and probably heart. So while it might not feel comfortable at first, know that talking about their family is one way that parents can show children that all parts of the child are loved and accepted. It does not mean that you always agree with the actions of their family members. Rather, being able to talk compassionately and freely allows the two of you to come closer together. In such open conversations, parents can learn about who has mattered to the children, which might surprise you, like extended family members, alternate caregivers, a neighbor, or previous parents who may have fostered them. Having these conversations will also allow for you to see in the types of relationships that the child may have had with previous primary caretakers. Knowing this may be very helpful for you as you learn about and build on what worked for the child before. Experiences that are interactive, maximizes the senses, and involves movement are relationship promoting. On this slide, you'll see a list of activities that promote relationship. You'll also find this list in a downloadable PDF in this class timeline. All of these activities are wonderful ways to have fun together while building your relationship. Lecturing, timeouts, asking your child to change a sibling's diaper, watching TV, or playing video games all discourage relationship development. These activities do not promote connection, which is the goal in attaching to your child. We've been talking about experiencing joy and playful moments with children. Now let's talk more about challenging times. One of the primary roles of parents is to guide children in correcting their behavior when they are off track. What makes this incredibly fulfilling but also stressful is that parents are not just aiming to discipline, but to shape lifelong decision-making abilities. Children who have experienced loss and trauma also need discipline, yet generally benefit most from non-traditional approaches. This is because typical strategies that take away privileges, experiences, or people from children who've experienced loss and trauma can be experienced as yet more loss, loneliness, or shame. So these methods are not only ineffective because they put the child into survival mode, they can actually be experienced as very painful. Regardless of the child's age, parents who are adopting can view these moments as opportunities for children to continue on their healing journey by correcting behavior while simultaneously protecting or even enhancing their relationship. Wrap up this section of the class by going over key takeaways of the attachment theme. A child's experience with previous caregivers will impact the way they relate to their current primary caregiver. It's powerful to talk gently about a child's history to understand their previous relationships with caregivers, even if they do not have a good recall of details. Children with a history of loss and trauma often find it hard to get close in relationships, and they show this through their behavior. Attachment relationships have predictable patterns. When adults understand a child's attachment style and history, they can better understand what the behaviors of the child represent and how the child can now be more meaningfully parented. Parenting a child with breaks in their attachment can be challenging because the parent will need to adjust their parenting and to stay consistent and compassionate. This will require the parent to have awareness of their own attachment history so that they can focus on the child's needs rather than their own. Discipline is a necessary component of parenting. Methods that bring the child closer to the parent will be essential to providing a healing environment. And parents will need to be sure to have many ways of keeping themselves healthy beyond this parenting experience. Parenting children with disrupted attachments will take consistent repetition over a significant period of time. Talking will not be enough to help children understand the world is now safe. The child experiencing repeated sensory-rich interactions with their parents will be key.